Oh no. Oh no. Don't advise yourself. I get this question a lot. And it's the fifth time I'm getting this question this month. So I think the problem is here the quantum entanglement and quantum physics is so overhyped. So now every time we talk about quantum physics, we just forget about all the foundations, all the background story, and just go to the conclusion, go to the quantum tunneling and other consequences or other interpretation of quantum physics. So we don't look at quantum physics fundamentally, like what are the foundations of it? Why do we think the way it is? We don't look into that because it's not fun. I know it's boring, and we just look into the interpretation, which are not science per se, which are hypotheses, which can't be proved because there isn't evidence to prove it wrong or to prove it right. So that's the problem here. So I will not tell you about quantum entanglement, although that was the question, but I'll give you a little bit of context. What happened before 2022? Uh, so this whole drama, let me start it from the EPR paper when Einstein and his two colleagues, Podolsky and Rosen, wrote a paper arguing why they believe that quantum physics is incomplete. So in quantum physics, there is this thing exists called wave function, which describes all the properties of a quantum system. And upon measurement, that wave function collapses into a single quantity or simple value or definite, you can say, position. So, and before that, it have a probabilistic value. It's not determined what is the value of that system is. So Einstein, his argument was that if we accept that, there will be so much unnecessary complication and implication of this acceptance that quantum entanglement is true and the things that we are the results that we are getting from these experiments is going against our current understanding of classical physics, which is literally the which is depending on local realism, and quantum physics is not compatible with local realism. So I'll explain a little bit what is local realism. So locality means that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, and realism means that everything has a definite value. Doesn't matter if you measure it or not; it always have a definite value. So, for example, if a tree fall in a forest, and if there is no one to hear that sound, will there be a sound? So, if the answer is yes, then that is the example of a definite realism. There is a value to it. So, in later, when Einstein wrote this paper arguing that okay, if I accept this, I have to reject all this classical things, physics that we have, and it worked at that time because Newtonian physics was something which worked practically, and all the things that we are doing based on science were working, like general theory of relativity and Newtonian physics, thermodynamics, everything was going great, and causality was there. It was not nothing was random, like it can happen without any cause. So it was absurd, and you can imagine it's still absurd. But at that time, when uh, there was not a lot of evidence to suggest that quantum physics is wrong or right, so it was a point where we have to decide should we go in that direction or is there something missing? Like, is there some interaction between particles that we don't understand yet? Do we need another equation or something else to complete that whole picture? So these arguments were going on, and later John Bell in the 60s was reading this paper, and he came up with a thought experiment, which is now known as Bell's theorem or Bell's inequality. And in just simple algebra, you can do this experiment on your own. Uh, it's just simple algebra. He assumed that if we include two things, being local realism, locality, and realism, then quantum totally incompatible with this thing. So anything that includes any classical theory that include local realism is incompatible with quantum physics. So he just proved it in on a paper. He did not have the technological advancement at the time to show how he is right, but on at least paper, he proved that Einstein was wrong. So it's possible to have quantum physics with evidence, and he proved it. But later, some experimental physicists and other researchers came along, namely uh, Anton Zillinger and John Glosser, and those guys, and there is another physicist. I think three people got Nobel Prize and in 2022 for that reason. So they later experimentally proved that yeah, uh, quantum entanglement is not a something. It is just on the um, which was accepted before that by Niels Bohr, that quantum entanglement or the wave function collapse is just an update of knowledge. His explanation was that, um, for example, if the Queen of England dies, so at that moment, the Prince of England will be king. So there is no delay there, right? The moment the Queen of England dies, at that moment, the Prince of England will be the king. So then doesn't there is no necessarily there is no need for the transfer of information, or I don't have to inform prince that the prince that you are the king is done. The moment she dies, he's the king. So he explained it like this, like it's just that we are updating our information, so it's obviously there is no physicality, or there is nothing going on the level of absolute reality. But now we know quantum teleportation is true, and quantum tunneling is also true. Um, Quantum teleportation is not like don't think about it like people teleporting from one room to another. It's just teleportation of quantum information without any delay, and it travels faster than light. So maybe there is no distance between those things. And the problem with scientific understanding right now is that any theory that we have is incomplete. Um, Meaning, for example, take Einstein's special theory of relativity. It is fully based on the speed of light, but don't know why the speed of light doesn't change. Why the speed of light is the constant. We accepted it, like this is the constant, but we don't. So in every theory, you will find that there is a constant. For that constant, you might find another example or reference to that constant. But if you look deeper, you will find that you will always end up with some or other definition or concept or assumptions that we have made. So based on those assumptions and constants, we have come up with theories, and it works, yeah, but it just works on the small scale. Like this whole world is a chaos, everything is chaotic, but we humans have forced order into this chaotic world. It's like there's a beautiful example or an anecdote I'd like to share about this drama of quantum physics. Think about it. In a video game, the coders doesn't program anything other than the character's domain. So the character is going to a shop or buying some guns or driving a car, but that is it. Like coder have only coded that much. Other than that, if you want to go to the forest, you can't go there because the coder haven't uh, done anything or made any order, or there is no causality there. It's not existent. So maybe the universe or the creator of this universe, maybe uh, they didn't thought that we are smart enough to go into the bush and look for evidence how the universe is. So now we are maybe too smart that we have kicked under the carpet and looked for evidence that what is what and what is what not. So that's it. Time is limited today. I think we have to wrap it up for now. In our next session, I would love get some questions that go into the technical aspect. Not this. I love these questions also. If you because the okay, let me be honest with you. I love the philosophical aspect of everything. I love to philosophize everything literally because that's what is meaning of life. Because everything is a story, and we still don't know what is the ultimate truth. And what is what in its absolute sense. So why not come up with stories that make us happy? So uh, that's it. But the problem is I get paid to teach you science, not philosophy. So if I spend too much time on these things, I would be notified by HR that I have to change my uh, lecture side. So thanks for the questions. I hope you got your answer and got a little bit of context why all this drama is going on the way it is.